question I want to ask really, many people, whether Shia or Sunni, or Muslim or non-Muslim, wonder about the role of Imam Mahdi in the occultation, and also our role. You individually kindly explained very well part of our roles. I'm not going to ask this question. The reason we say that, because as we all know, if we know the role of Nabi Muhammad, we try to imitate and follow his behavior. So that we try to imitate and follow the behavior of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. Some scholars, they say his role is to witness the rise and fall of civilizations so that he acquires experience and he knows how to handle the world in the future. Some people say that his role is to meet the needs of the people and to help the poor and so forth. Some people say his role is to help the scholars because they face challenges and the challenges are so severe and they put them in despair, and to raise their morale, how to handle the future challenges. I would thank you if you can answer in a nutshell and bullet points about his role.
I think you've mentioned all the roles, really. Yeah, you've mentioned all the roles of the imams. I thought you were observing and commenting and not a question. The role of the imam is exactly the roles our beloved Prophet and Ahlul Bayt played. But his biggest role is to reappear to ensure absolute social justice is administered. So now I will look at it on the flip side. We now need to play our roles so that Allah releases Imam as soon as possible. Now quickly on parenting, because you don't have time. I was asking Sheikh, where was the time?
Where's the time?
Time is gone. I don't know what's happened. Maybe because of the mic, you need to give us more time. But anyway, 3 practical tips from my side on how to prepare the next generation towards the reappearance of our beloved Imam. Number 1, upbringing or nurturing before development. Parents, think of upbringing before you think of development. What is development? I want you to become a nurse. I want you to become a doctor. But think of وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ, then وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. First, instill values in your children before you instill the love of professionalism in them. That's number 1. Because in most of our houses, most of our communities, look at our programs, look at our projects, we only think of development, but we don't think of how to instill the values of Islam. We only tend to think of that when they go to universities and they lose it. So that's number 1. Upbringing before development. Number 2, let's try as much as we can to nurture or upbring our children in an indirect way, not direct way. What you want to see in them, let them see in you. You do not recite Quran, and you want them to recite Quran? You hardly go to the classes organized by scholars in our communities, and you want to force your children to go to madrasa? You don't do any charity work, and you expect them to do charity? So indirect upbringing is the most effective way of upbringing children. What we are doing now is direct way. The effect of it is very little really. For it to have an impact, you need to see what I preach in me. Otherwise, if it contradicts what I preach, but the difficulties we have is, or the difficulty we have is what? Our communities, they get excited when they hear so many words from us. But they don't get excited when they look at our actions. He speaks well. She's amazing. But if you look at the contradiction between what I speak and my action, you should then stay away from me, really. And so therefore, indirect upbringing is the most important. And last, but certainly not the least, we need to reconcile between contacting generation and communicating generation. Communicating generation is what some scholars refer to social media generation. But contacting generation is the older generation. So we need to reconcile between the two. And there are practical tips on how to reconcile. Number one, hiwar, dialogue. Talk. Explain to your children. Discuss with them. Tell them this is Islamic value. It's of great importance. Dialogue. Number two, you need to be patient. Be patient. Don't give up. Be patient. It will not happen overnight. And last but not least, you need to pay attention to it and make it a topmost priority in your life.
I just want to add 2 points, very, very important. Number one, and that is we need to speak to our children to make Islam and Ahl al-Bayt something lovable to them. Meaning, we must not be coming down hard on our children when it comes to principles of religion, but also the Holy 12th Imam. حَبِّبُوا إِلَيْهِمُ الْإِيمَانِ. We need to utilize methods today to present Islam in a way that is acceptable to our children. For example, there was this nasheed, Salam Ya Mahdi, especially in Arabic and in English, drew people towards the 12th Holy Imam. We need to utilize TikTok methods today that are very, very powerful and needed. Number two, please pay attention to this, my sisters and brothers. And this is a controversial area, but it shouldn't be a controversial area. And that is today, our youth are going through phases where they are being subjected to misconceptions and deviations on YouTube and online, specifically regarding the 12th Imam and about the representatives of the 12th Imam, the Maraja. Today we have responsibility to teach them and to ensure that they understand that the leaders that guide us towards the Imam are the Maraja al-Idham. They are our Maraja. They are our leaders. They are our guides. Yes? Make them go and meet them. Tell them the stories. Make them understand how amazing these individuals are. They've sacrificed their life. Anyone today who has an issue with a marja, let's have dialogue. But wallah, today we saw 21 million people walking in Karbala, yes, reciting Ma'tam, the famous one, Safra ilallah, everyone's so excited about. None of this would have been possible without the fatwa of Marja al-A'la. None of this. How can you say, I go to Arba'een and so on, and you have an issue with a marja? No problem, you have a disagreement, come and discuss. But to stand against marja'iyya is standing against Imam al-Mahdi. It's standing against Imam al-Mahdi, whether you like it or not. Our children need to be the ushaq of marja'iyya and ushaq of Ahl al-Bayt. That's how we're going to make them the servants of the Imam. Finally, look at that. Just all of you look at that wonderful, wonderful kind of sculpture where it shows the hands or somehow depicts Yawm al-Ghadir. Yes? It's so special in our hearts, Eid al-Ghadir and the wilayah of Ahl al-Bayt. Today you and I need to pledge our allegiance to Imam Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman. Just like how the mu'mineen, the true believers, gave their allegiance to Amir al-Mu'mineen on the 18th of Dhul-Hijjah. Today our hearts have to be connected to the Imam and say, Ya Sahib al-Asr, I am your servant. I will serve others in your name. Establish organizations, help others, seek the assistance of others in the name of Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman. May Allah bless you.